Annie Klaff here at Prince George's Stadium with new pitching prospect Tyson Neighbors. Tyson, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here.
So obviously this has been a little bit of a transition, and for some background, you were one of the best closers in college baseball in 2023, got drafted in the 4th round in 2024, and then obviously going into 2025 not necessarily expecting to be dealt away at the trade deadline and switch organizations. So how can you kind of break down your experience in pro ball so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I mean, it's been a lot of new faces and creating a lot of new relationships, but I think, that's part of the fun in it, not necessarily that, you're moving every month, so once you create those relationships, like, they're kind of, you're separated, but you still got those guys, and it's still cool to see them, around the league or, back home, meet guys on teams that are, around your area and meet up in the off season. So it's been fun, yeah.
Does it help a little bit knowing that there were 5 other prospects that came with you to the Baltimore organization?
Yeah, I mean, they're awesome, but I think a part of being an ex-Padre is it feels like everyone's an ex-Padre. Like, they always, deal out all their prospects. So I guess it does make you feel more comfortable even talking to the other guys that, have been traded, not necessarily here, but just in general, what the heck? Like, it just, randomly, one day you're in San Antonio or Frisco, and the next day I'm up here on the East Coast. So
yeah, so walk me through that kind of experience at the deadline. Was this something you were a little bit expecting, or not necessarily at all? Was it a big shock? I
mean, I've definitely seen rumors and stuff, and kind of people crack jokes like, oh, you're a prospect, you're going to get traded in that organization. But I guess I was kind of expecting it, but it didn't hit me till it kind of happened. And when it initially happened, I was preparing to propose to my now fiance on Saturday and got dealt on Thursday. So there was a conversation. It's like, is there any way that I could, stay here for a few days and get that handled? And the Orioles are really accepting of that and supported it and let me stay there and get it done. And then she decided to backpack with me and drive all the way up to Akron and meet the team. So it was a cool little experience and definitely one I'll never forget.
Well, congrats on the proposal. How was that experience for you? What was the proposal like? What did you do?
Yeah, so I've never been able to keep a surprise from her. So this was hopefully my first shot, at keeping a surprise and whatnot. We ended up, I'd set we had a vacation in the Bahamas, later and whatever, and that's kind of the obvious, oh, it's probably going to happen there. But I had her family coming down for this Frisco series, and I'm, not too far away from Frisco, and I knew she'd want her family there and everything, so I kind of, called her mom, was like, hey, I know I wasn't expecting this to do it till later, but I think I could throw her off by doing it now. And we found a spot in the Dallas Arboretum. It's a beautiful flower garden and stuff, and there was a kind of tree arches and everything, and it was family pictures for her family. And we're like, hey, y'all should get some pictures. And we did a little spin like you're dancing, and as her back's turned, I kind of pulled it out of my back pocket and got on, one knee. So it was awesome having, her family there, my family there, and just everyone to enjoy that special moment.
That's awesome. Well, congrats on that huge life moment, especially on top of another one, switching organizations. So we'll get into the baseball side of things now. You, I guess, growing up and throughout college baseball, you kind of focused heavily and were very intrigued by the analytics side of baseball and the analytical aspect. So what, for you, do you like so much about that?
I think it was just something growing up, I was a football player. I played baseball, but it was kind of a side type of thing. And so I was really behind on the pitching side. I didn't start pitching until sophomore, junior high school. And once I got into college and kind of got introduced into analytics, it was okay, this is something that maybe not everyone's looking at, that maybe I can look at and use to, my advantage as far as pitch shapes, usage, tunneling, all that type of stuff. So I kind of went all in on YouTube and different coaches, different resources that coaches had, to whether it's looking up or having conversations on the phone, just to truly understand, ball movement and what I can do to ultimately strike out hitters or get guys to make weak contact.
Would you kind of credit analytics and that research that you were doing yourself and with other people and on YouTube to how good of a pitcher you were in college and the process to getting drafted?
I think so, but I mean, obviously it's a bunch of factors. It's not just analytics. Like, you can know all the numbers in the world, but if one, you can't do it, or you don't have the coaches, that allow you to use stuff like that and help you dive deep into it, I probably wouldn't have had as much success. So.
Can you give a bit of a breakdown for each of your pitch offerings?
Yeah, I mean, it's ride, four-seam, fastball. Typically, they'd say 18 inches or above is considered, pretty good induced vertical break to create, that flatter angle and that rising effect. And I'm around like 20 or so. And then the 12-6 curveball, just coming kind of right out of that tunnel from being high arm slot guy. And that one's, around -10 or so induced vertical break. So, and then the gyro is basically a version of a slider that just spins like a bullet, and it doesn't really go glove side as much as you'd expect. It just kind of has that depth, and it's a harder pitch. And yeah, those are kind of the three pitches I use. I tinker every once in a while with some others, but those are the three that are getting used in the game right now.